Hello everybody, this is LowLifeKitten and thank you for coming back to my channel. If you're returning because you watched my last video, I'm extremely thankful. That video went a lot further than I thought it would. Normally I only get 400, 500 views per video, but this last video I believe got 1.5k, which might not seem a lot, but that's quite a bit for a small channel like me. I guess we'll go ahead and get into what this video is about. And it's about somebody that has gained some traction here lately. JustPearlyThings has gotten pretty popular. So, usually talking about marriage and the downsides of it, she claims that marriage is a bad deal for most men. That women should serve their husbands, and all around being the biggest anti-feminist girl I could think of. The thing is, Miss Hannah Pearl Davis isn't married, nor is she even in a relationship to my knowledge. Yet she thinks that she can speak on behalf of all married men. She truly believes that she knows everything that a man wants, yet no man wants her. She truly believes that she knows everything. Like everything about anything when it comes to both men and women. I don't believe Miss Pearly would be spewing such ignorance if she did have a man in her life. Marriage isn't a cookie cutter thing. Not all men want the same thing out of it. In this video, we'll dive into what this female Andrew Tate clone is all about. If you stick around and decide that you like the video, maybe consider checking out some of my other content, liking, and subscribing. Now that I've done that shameless plug, let's get into it. One of the videos that I came across while researching for this video is apparently most men are to blame for a divorce, which struck me as odd. Every video this woman posts strikes me as odd. From the start of this video, I could already tell this woman craved attention to the max because she starts off like this.
I'm ranting tonight, and you guys can just be here for it or not be here for it. Don't care.
You don't care if we're here for it? Yes, you do. Pearl, if it wasn't for your herd of low-confidence, damaged men, you wouldn't have a platform. And what's crazy is the demographic of your audience still discredits you. Do you know why? These men have a special place of hate in their hearts for women. It doesn't matter how much of a pick-me you are with these men. Eventually, they will turn on you. They want to hear other men give credit to their ignorant thought process, not you. You have made yourself look like a tool. But I'll try to hear you out, Pearl. I really will.
So I saw a tweet from this girl named Liz Wheeler. Okay, and Liz Wheeler, don't know much about her, thinks she works for some conservative media company. And I've noticed with the TradCon women, whenever there's a stat that makes women look bad, you simps do this too, you always feel the need to give a reason. You always say, well, it's because this. So
yeah, most scientists do that too. In order to figure out why something is so high, they do research to see why the stats are behaving like that. The whole you simps do this too, like not every man that tells you why a stat is the way it is a simp. Some of them are this thing called educated, something you know very little about, Miss Pearl. In order to grow and understand why something is the way it is, we have to look at other statistics to compare it to. God, this woman is so ignorant. Like, let's talk about the statistic that you bring up here.
So, women file divorce 70 to 80% of the time, 90% if they're college educated.
Women do file for divorce more often, but there's a lot of statistics that will tell you why that is. Let's look up the most common reason for divorce. Look at that, it's infidelity. Now let's look at which sex tends to commit adultery more often. Holy shit, look, it's men. According to a general social survey, they were able to find that men are 20% more likely to commit adultery. You might be thinking 20% doesn't sound too high. Well, think about the population of just the US, where the survey was taken. There are 333 million people in the US. 20% of the US population is around 66 million people. 66 million men are likely to commit adultery compared to the 13% of women in the same study. It is a lot more likely that the husband will be the one to cheat. When you look at the statistics of abuse, men are more likely to do that too. Why? Because men like to look at women like weak animals that they can push around. I'm not saying all men, but a lot of men do. Divorce is expensive, and to them, it can be seen as a trap that these women can't escape. That's what abusive people do. That's why most women are filing for divorce in the US are college educated. They can't afford it. So why are women wanting divorces again? Because statistically, the top 3 reasons are infidelity, lack of commitment, and loss of intimacy. All seem like reasonable reasons to end a relationship.
You might not know this, but women lie. Women lie all the time. We're known for lying. And you can see this by the fake hair that we wear. I'm sure you, just like all the other trad kind of women, have fake hair color, Botox, all this stuff, whatever. Don't care. But my point is, women's nature is to just kind of be deceptive.
According to her, women's nature is to be deceptive, even though according to Psychology Today, they found that women never surpass men when it comes to being selfishly dishonest, even though the numbers are tight. Humans lie. That's not really a sex-based thing.
Now, I interviewed 1,000 women in the past 2 years. I did a show in London, and I would bring on all of these people in London. Now, a lot of you would say, Pearl, you just bring on the worst women. Nope. I brought in Christians. I brought on married women. I brought in all different types.
You chose those women. You yourself said that. That is an unreliable study. What isn't unreliable is the millions of other statistics that discredit everything that you've said up to this point.
Until one day in my chat, somebody put, ask if she filed a police report. And it blew my mind how I could maybe think of one girl in like 2 years who filed a police report. So I thought to myself, well, that's strange, because if they were abusive, why would you not go to the police? I mean, I'm out here. I don't want any abusive men abusing me. So wouldn't you go to the police? I would think.
Yes, people lie sometimes, but that doesn't change that it does happen a lot more often than you're giving credit to. Saying, well, a few is bullshit when there's still many who have gone through that. Why wouldn't women report abuse? Let's give you a real life example as to why they might not. My mom used to be abused by my stepdad. It was pretty bad. He would hit her so hard that there was times that I didn't know whether or not she would come out of it alive. I was about 12 when this was going on. It's not like I could defend her. I remember one night she caught him cheating and he pistol whipped her and knocked her teeth out. She didn't call the cops. The only time 911 was called is when I personally thought he was going to shoot her. She was scared of him to the point that she thought he'd kill her after getting out of jail. Men that lay their hands on their wives are crazy. They make you think that they don't care what happens to you as long as they get what they want. That's why they don't report abuse 99% of the time. Other reasons may be that they don't want to lock the father of their children away, or they don't think that they will be believed. This is the same case when it comes to SA. I didn't report mine until I was 24. It happened when I was 11. I mostly didn't report because I was a child at the time. But I was also made to believe that I was the problem, that I was the one going to ruin his life, and that my family would disown me for it. And they did. This is why people don't report. They have the chance of losing everything for opening their mouth. I am a living testament to that.
You'll notice women love changing the definition of things. They just love. There was a Domestic Abuse Act. Now this expanded the definition of abuse. Now abuse isn't a man hitting a woman. It's also emotional abuse. It's also, what do we have? Emotional abuse, financial abuse. So if a guy says, no, Becky, you cannot spend $3,000 on the credit card, she can go and say, I was financially abused.
She sits there and claims that women change definitions, and then she changes the definition of financial abuse. Financial abuse is when you restrict somebody from making necessary purchases that they want or need, or withholding money from them with selfishness or abusive intent. While doing my research for this video and just trying to understand where this woman's thought process came from, I came across a weird video.
Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories they talk, I think maybe they're right.
Which is just her saying Hitler was right and wanting to commit mass murder of Jews, and then she goes on to say that both sides would cancel her for it. Maybe, Pearl, if both sides are actually agreeing on something, you might be wrong. The sad thing is, I don't really have to show you any other videos for you to understand what she's about. She goes on the internet and she spews the same things over and over and over again. She's one-dimensional and absolutely unable to look at anything from a different angle. The woman even has the nerve to tell already married women that they are doing it wrong, or she'll tell single women why they aren't married while she sits there unmarried herself. If she's this all-seeing woman on what men want, don't you think that she would have a man? She's a pick-me. She brings other women down because she hates that they have what she doesn't, a man. She claims all men want a traditional wife when that's just completely untrue. Rather, if you're talking to an alpha male bro or a normal guy, alpha men want a woman that will dumb herself down and will do all the work while he sits on his ass. If you listen to Pearl in hopes of saving your marriage, then your relationship is already doomed. I myself have been married for 3 years. I have a happy marriage. I'm nothing like how she claims I should be. I make financial decisions. I talk back to my husband. I question him, and I work 40 hours a week. So does he. I think that it's a good thing to question your spouse because it allows them to understand things from a different angle. It allows them to communicate with you by attempting to understand your viewpoint. And it helps them to understand how to handle a child's questions about the world because God knows they have so many. My dad used to say, allow your children to ask why when you tell them no. Teaching them to question authority in a respectful and intelligent way breeds CEOs. Telling them because I said so breeds a worker bee. The thing is, when it comes to marriage, the secret to happiness is finding the man that works for you. My husband and I match each other's energy. Everything is 50%, and to me, that's how it should be. I think the key to a surviving marriage is understanding and respecting both parties. If you don't have that, one party will always be unhappy. And when men think like her, that makes women file for divorce. The honest truth is that Pearl will probably never find a lasting marriage if she continues this thought process. Either that or she will find one with the wrong man and she'll finally understand why women file so often. A good man is hard to come by, and it's even harder when your judgment is this cloudy. When she finally has that alpha bro that she's always wanted, she'll watch chores go undone. She'll watch her husband verbally abuse her. She'll wonder which woman he's with after a late night at work. She will watch her children lose respect for her. She is what I see as a weak woman that will ultimately fail her children. If mommy won't speak up for herself to dad, how could we? These men she claims that are non-simps are the ones that make their problems the whole family's problem because they can't control their emotions, nor can they handle a child. How a man treats his wife is a preview of how he will treat your future children. And you don't want a man that expects his wife to baby him to father your children in a healthy, respectful way. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just thankful that I have a platform to post on because I have really found a love for video making. So all the support that you guys could give me, that would be great. Anyway, peace.